Okay, so let me just begin that this leader is a straight up hassle to build around. I've taken my time to build him multiple times, and I started with all the regular green variants, like all the stuff that you would think to build him around, like all the green specified stuff. Even with the new Clash of Fates, does it require? I don't know. Either way, I was just thinking, like, does it require a green Frieza leader? And I think it does. Anyway, it was kind of boring anyway. I think PPG came out with that deck profile. Not that one was boring. It was just like, you know, that's the stuff that you kind of expect. Then I tried a green yellow build that had a really good early game, drew a lot, but didn't really have a win con. It had suck ass defense. Scrapped that one. And then I tried to go the mono yellow swap route, but then a certain egg based content creator made it before I did. So I was like, I don't want to do that. The win con for that one was the Universe 7 SR Goku. This is actually pretty good, especially since the swap, every time that you attack, it gains 5k. And then you get a Dragon Ball, you swap back out, and then it has barrier. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do it, and I couldn't do it. But that kind of leads us to this one, which is the Child's Wish Tricolored Pilaf. And this is my last attempt at making this leader any kind of decent until, you know, he probably gets some more support later on, which I really doubt that. But Merry Christmas, bitches. Also, I will say this is by no means a competitive deck, but when you actually do have the right board and get to higher energy, it can do some work. But let's just go ahead and get to the deck already. And as always, if you don't want to break down, just skip to the end. You know, that's just the whole point of it. So that's why I make the video. If I didn't, I would just post a list. I wouldn't be making videos on YouTube. But also, if you haven't signed up for the completely free Untapped tourney, please go do that in the link below, and also join the Discord, and also subscribe if you are new, because there are going to be some more deck profiles. I'm working on a lot of set 6 / Clash of Fate stuff. It's all kind of correlated in between. Most likely I'll be doing the red blue trunks deck, since you know I wanted to save that one, but I'm like, go ahead and do it. My buddy's Universe 7 Gohan deck, and then Lord Slug, which he is just incredible with all the support that he just got. I mean, he is just so fun to play. It's just wild. And then I got the mono red baby stuff that he just got support for, and then the mono blue Rudigan, that's gonna be coming too. So anyway, for the deck itself, let's go ahead and learn about the leader and why he's so bad. The reason why he's so bad is because he is kind of reliant on a lot of different things, and he doesn't have inherent good support. And until we get into the next sort of set, which theoretically I should have just waited until I built a deck for the Clash of Fates for this guy. But oh well, too late. I'll probably update. I never do this anymore. I haven't done it, but I'm meaning to do that, where I take a deck that I did before and then update it for all the new support. And I think come January, when just before Clash of Fates opens or releases, I'll probably come back to this deck and just update with all the new green support. It's not that big of a deal. I think the biggest thing is Paragus and the super combo, but that's really about it. So for him, he has an auto on his front side, his unwished side, well, I guess awakened too, or unawakened side. When you battle one of your battle cards attacks, it gets a 5k power for the duration of turn, and you choose one Dragon Ball from your deck or life and add it to your hand. Shuffle any areas that you look through. So you can, of course, with all the other Trend 1 leaders, they're all the same. You can search through either one and then shuffle and just grab one ball. Then of course you can choose one desire. It doesn't limit what desire it is. All the new wish leaders have a separate thing, like the Broly and as well as the Mechians, so just watch out for that. And then the awakened side is that he has activate main as pretty much the same thing as all the other leaders. His is green or black desire, so you can't play the red desires for free. You can't do anything else for free. You have to have the energy cost equal or less to and activate it if it's green or black. And then the other thing is that why this man is so underwhelming is that you remove 7 Dragon Balls from your drop area, and if you do, you choose up to 1 card each from your opponent's hand and battle card and place into the drop areas, and also gains 15k for the duration of turn, and you flip it back over. So the reason why this guy is kind of hard to build around is that one, in order to actually wish quickly, which is one of the biggest things for any Shenron leader, and of course if you haven't checked out the Shenron Explained video, go check that out. It's in my videos if you need any more information about that. But the biggest thing for this is to draw your Dragon Balls quickly, or for any Shadowrun leaders, to draw the Dragon Balls quickly, draw for the free draw, get them in the drop, and then flip over, so that way you can do some shenanigans on the backside. So that's a huge thing, and you know, there's a lot of different variables when it comes to it, but relying on your battle cards, yes, it gains 5k, which could be okay. To get your Dragon Balls is kind of annoying. And there are a lot of variants that use like Bulma, the 1-drop Bulma, or like Pilaf or like Maya or whatever, in order to draw the Dragon Balls pretty quickly. But I don't really do that. I kind of let it come to me, which is probably a bad idea, and as well as attack as many times as possible, and then just plan it out, maybe even mulligan for the Dragon Balls. That's one of the things you might have to do with this leader. And another thing is that one card from your opponent hand and battle card isn't all that great, so it's one of each. Like, there's a lot of options to remove stuff on the battle area, which this deck could use a little bit of removal, as now that I think about it, but it's not too bad. And then one card from your hand, I mean, you choose it, but it's just like you don't know what card you're getting, so you're leaving everything up to RNG on that point. It's only one card, so I don't know. It's just not that great. And him being a green leader pre Clash of Fates, and as well as set 6. Again, you have to think about that. Like, all the good stuff from set 6 for green leaders doesn't come out until March. So this deck profile being released before all that, like, you know, it makes sense. So knowing all this, I think the best route is to take the strengths of all the things that he can do and do them the best way possible. And that means is that, what is your early game to get Dragon Balls, and how can you put on pressure slash get enough draw to do that? And then the other thing is that, how can you survive until your win con? And the win con for this, well, there are a few, is the GT Goku, which is one of the only reasons why I wanted to build this in the first place, the 5-drop, and then the Demigra, right? So Demigra itself, the 5-drop Demigra warps everything, in which you already have the 5 black cards for Dragon Balls, and you're most likely not going to be using his ultimate. You're just going to be relying on these things afterwards, after Demigra, for the free draw, and as well as desires after that. So you got to be kind of careful when you do that. But that's kind of the thought process behind it. So let's kind of talk through, or add in, all the battle cards first. Well, maybe even before that, I spelled that all wrong. Let's go ahead and add the Dragon Balls. So what we do is 6 Dragon Balls and 1 1-star ball. Because this is a Child Wish deck, most of the time you're going to be, or mainly Child Wish deck, or the focus is for that, you want one of your battle cards into the drop area, so that way you can Child's Wish as soon as possible. And not only that, is that they neg 1 card, and that doesn't mean much, but if you do it early enough, it can be a little bit of a detriment. So the Dragon Ball itself is a free draw, that's, everybody knows that. And then this one, you draw 1 and you choose 1 from your hand to the drop area, and they have to choose 1 from their hand into the drop area. To kind of support that, we do have 1 Dragon Radar, just 1. I usually run 2, but 1 in this deck isn't too bad because of the number of desires that you have, and as well as Android 16. I do also play 4 Child's Wish. You could theoretically, so that way you can have a little bit of more leeway, and as well as less variance for that, like drawing it into a dead extra card like Child's Wish. If you don't have the means to use it, is to use 2 Dragon Radar and then 3 Child's Wish. It's not that bad, but because of this leader, you want a Child's Wish in your hand pretty early, and you want all of your other targets in your hand pretty early. And of course, we do have the World Peace at 2. 2 is probably the right number for this one. There are, I think, 3 different World Peace targets, maybe 4, including the Shenron that we play. But I think the ratio for these 2 are perfectly fine. I mean, the number of games I have played, probably so far it's okay. Now on the battle card, so the first one that I kind of want to point out, which some people may agree with me, some people may not, is that you kind of need not only, again, consistent and valuable, well, consistent, maybe not valuable, but consistent use of getting your Dragon Balls, and not only that, but pushing a little bit early on, so that way you're actually doing some damage. And to take hold of that, Awakening Talipan is actually pretty good because one, she gains 5k, so she's a 20k attacker, taking a life if you take a life, and that draws you a card. And most of the time in Shenron decks, you don't really do that because you don't awaken. But in this deck, you kind of need that draw, and you kind of need to see as many cards as possible, so it's not that bad. And at the end of the day, she is a dedicated energy. Like majority of the time, after you get all your Dragon Balls, or you're at 4 or less, which doesn't really matter in this deck, but whatever life total that you want to be at, she's dedicated energy before after that. And that's really important, so that way, in case you do need to, you're gonna be hard casting these quick thinking Goten. So you know, before I didn't really like hard casting him or using Child's Wish, but now I kind of came around to it. Having 2 of these guys on board is just stupid. Having one of them is nice, but as soon as you have 2 of them, that's a guaranteed 2 draw and a 15k attacker every single time for critical. Not only that, is that early in the game when you do get your Child's Wish out, you can attack with him. He's a 20k critical, he nets you a card, and it's all good. And early in, they're probably not going to be able to remove him. They're going to have the 10k attacker from their leader, as well as something else that they have to attack with. And since your leader is able to attack, that's another outlet for you to remove that. So and if they KO it, then that's no problem. It is a Child's Wish deck. You can just use Child's Wish to get it right back. The only thing it doesn't really lose to is a warp. So that's always a thing to kind of watch out for when playing a Shenron base deck. The final blue battle card is going to be the 5-drop Gogeta. So the double daddy here basically has double strength, and then a sparking 5, which is pretty easy to get into in a Shenron deck, is that you draw 2 cards and you remove 2 battle cards on their area and place them at the bottom of the deck. So again, this deck or leader kind of suffers from draw quite a lot, and you need to get it wherever you can, and as well as control the board to get to that 5 or 6 energy. And this is a pretty good way to do it, like not only to world peace it when you are at 5 energy, because at that time they're going to have threats on the board to remove, but also to have that draw, and 25,000 double strike is really good. All right, let's get to the green. So I got 2 Spirited Search Trunks. So I really do like this card. I really do want to like the card, but I never really got to a point where I'm like, okay, I really need this card. But you can, because this is based on Child's Wish, she is one of the perfect targets for Child's Wish. You can even play this man at 3 or 4, but at 2, it's not that bad. I think the way that this is kind of built around is to attack as many times with everything else and then redo your desires whenever needed. This is not bad in the early steps, so that way you can go ahead and place it in the drop area, but I really don't like that, because then you're missing out on 2 draws for one, and it takes away from just being patient as that goes, or because for this one you kind of do need to be a little bit patient. The other thing is that the Awakening Talipan goes with the Spirited Search Trunks, because at the activate main you have to be at 4 or less to choose a green or black desire from your drop area and add to your hand. You only have the green desire or the black desires in this, so you know it's obviously going to be the Child's Wish or the World Peace. But that's kind of why I like to play Awakening Talipan, attack 4 times, get those Dragon Balls, and then have 4 or less life, play this man, and then keep getting your desires back whenever needed. And when it works, it works. So the other thing is that I do play 4 of the Android 18 Deadly Defenders. So yeah, outside of the Android decks, she is just another Deadly Defender, but at the same time, she does save you some games, definitely. And with Sensu being the super combos, the Shocking Death Ball, and as well as the Android 16 that I'm going to be showing in a second, she can survive quite a long time. And instead of being a Child's Wish target, she is definitely a World Peace target. I've done it before. World Peace doesn't have to be played at 4. You can play it at 3 if you have all your Dragon Balls and you are on your backside, and you play it for free. Play this here, and then use the rest of the energy, that is, for defense. I think she's actually very, very important to get out. If I had to cut her down to like 3 or 2, I would probably put in like Unbreakables or something else that helps you draw and as well as defend on your turn, or their turn, that is. But that's kind of why we have the Iron Man of Justice, Android 16, who is a revenge blocker, one of the best in the game. And if you are playing a Child's Wish deck, you should be playing him. I don't see really any other way to do it when it comes to the 3 and 15 sort of options here. I mean, you have a number of other things, but really he doesn't do it better than anybody else. You know, Focus Mind Piccolo is really cool as far as that goes. That's another option for you in this blue green deck. Sneak Attack Goku is cool in concept, but really it kind of is a little annoying since you just give it back to their hand. And then Sidra, but in the green, like, you know, there's not really too much. Indomitable Gohan, etc., until we get to the next sets. But for Iron Hammer of Justice, if you get both him and as well as 18, and maybe even the Gotenks on board, you have a pretty good board in order to not only defend, but also have attackers more and more attackers over and over again until you get to the higher energies. And then speaking of higher energies, we do play 3 of the Twin Onslaught Son Goku. 3 because it is your win con. It is the reason why you play the green Pilaf, and he does have Double Strike, Deflect. He has a 5-drop, 25,000. So most of the time you could be playing World Peace. You could be playing 2 of these if you have 3 green energy, which this deck I do believe has 20 green cards, so it's not gonna be that difficult to do that. But when you do play this, it's an auto burst 5, and you have a green Shenron leader card. You choose all of their opponent's battle cards and KO them. If there are still battle cards remaining in the battle area, choose all of them ignoring barrier, negate their skills for the duration of turn, and it gains dual attack. So theoretically, I would say is that a barrier goes away after you negate the skills, right? It becomes a vanilla, just like how you would for a Cold Bloodlust or something else like that. So there's 2 things as far as this goes. So if you don't negate their skills, ignoring barrier, so if they don't have something ignoring barrier on the board or have something with barrier that you can ignore, it doesn't gain dual attack. So it's not a dual attack double striker, so that's kind of annoying. But oh well. But the other thing is that if you do play 2 in a row, you don't get the barrier because I do believe when it gets negated, someone can clarify me if I'm wrong here, because that's how I've been playing it. If you play 1 and it negates their skills, and you play another, you get to KO them right after and clear the board. Yes, you're losing out on 10 cards from your deck, but that could be a winning move if they have a lot of annoying things like Deadly Defenders, Vegetos, whatever it may be. And that's the reason why he is so good, or conceptually good, I guess, and one of the best reasons to play him. So that's pretty much it. And the last battle card is going to be Shenron, the Wish Granter. So there's a couple things for this. Is that he is kind of a win con when you don't have anything else. So you play him for 5, or you world peace him if you need to for 4 if he's in the drop and you have 5 energy. And then if you have a sparking, or if you have 7 in the drop, you get to draw 2 cards, and then you get to untap 4 of your energy, play a battle card 3 or less from your drop area and play it, which most of them are your target or targets in your drop area. Or you choose one of your leader cards and battle cards, you get 15k and triple strike. So one of the things I would say is that if someone's tapped out and you want to go for a Hail Mary, and this is the only thing that's in your hand, you get to draw 2 cards, see them first, and then choose one. And if you really have nothing else, and this has come to that sometimes, you can play him for 5 or world peace him out for 4 and then play his effect. Then give your leader triple strike and 15k, play his effect for 15k, or yeah, I do believe, yeah, 15k, and as well as dropping 2 for moving that 7 Dragon Balls, and then go for 45,000 triple strike from the leader right after. So if they have no negates and they're at 3 life, then that's going to be a really good game ender. He's also not that bad for drawing 2 cards, untapping 4, and pretty much just being a 1-drop, and then playing world peace right after, getting this man out, and then just going for game after that. I personally like the other Shenron a little bit better, but I wanted to give this one a chance, and so far I've used him a couple times. This is not that bad. Also, you can still give any of the battle cards 15k or triple strike for the duration of turn, and since this guy does dual attack, you know, that wouldn't be too much of a bad idea if this guy doesn't end the game already and he's already on the board. All right, let's move on to support. So the first one is going to be Senzu Bean. You already know when playing blue and you want to survive in this meta or any of them, Senzu Bean is pretty detrimental. Shocking Death Ball is still really good. Since you have a green leader, you might as well play it, and so far it has been pretty useful. We also have the super combos. Yes, I did not forget them. And before I forget, of course, the Demigra. I already kind of explained why I have him and why he is there, but this is the deck itself. So kind of a weird mishmash of different things that can be played, but as you kind of see the turn 1 to 3, 4, 5 type things, it's not that bad. Of course, you can play the Child's Wish for 2, which is why I like it, since you're not going to be wishing too early. But it generally goes that you charge a blue, whether it's another pan or double pan, and you mulligan for a pan, of course. Or if it's a big drop Gogeta, or if it's Senzu Bean, you know you're not going against aggro. You play her, attack, get a Dragon Ball, and go for 20k. Take a life if need be for that hand advantage, and then you can always search for a 1-star ball if you are if you have a Child's Wish target like Iron Hammer or Quick Thinking, or you can just take another Dragon Ball for the draw. It's not that big of a deal. And then turns 2 and 3 is just focusing on Awakening, putting some more cards on the board in order to attack, and then Child's Wish early as possible, so that way you do have those attackers on board and you can go ahead and get your Dragon Balls. And then 4 and 5, you're gonna be playing either the Ultimate Fusion Gogeta to remove different things. You're gonna play Dragon Radar in order to draw a little bit more and find whatever you need to. You're gonna play the Spirited Search Super Saiyan Trunks, or you're gonna be filling the board up with Gotens, which is probably gonna be the thing that I would recommend if you're gonna be wished and awakened. I've gotten lucky and awakened like turn 3 or 2 with this guy. I just don't know how that happens sometimes, but it just does. And if you have a couple Gotens, like I was saying, as soon as you develop that board and you have that on the board, you're good to go. You have the draw, you have the pressure, and then you can just go ahead and keep going until you can get your win counts out. And again, an early, or at least as soon as 5 energy Demigra is not a bad play. I've done it before, and it's actually really good because the person had 5 cards, 4 of them were battle cards. I stripped them away. I attacked for triple strike. One of them, he went ahead and blocked or countered, I don't remember. Then I passed the turn. Now he only has 1 card to either charge or keep and draw. It was nice. And that's why he is so important right now, and just a little expensive. Did a whole video on it, you already know. But that's the deck. Hopefully I didn't talk too much. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your builds are. Shout out to everybody who's trying to make this, and as well as had a little success with it. But watch out for the next profile, the deck profiles. I'll be coming out with more of them. That'll probably be my focus, other than combating the meta for Storm. I'm working on that as well. But I will see you in the next one. Like, dislike, comment, and subscribe. Later.